The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Monday Fantasy. Sign the promo code MLB SGPN to score up to $1,000 of bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day trial today by going to sportsgambling.com, rhythmsportsgambling.com, just RITHMM. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Sunday, August 25th, roughly 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast. I am your host for this episode, Scott Reichel. Once again, joined by Lonte Smith, and together we're going to break down the Monday games on the card. I believe we have 10 or 11 games, depending on how you view the doubleheader. Point is, though, we also have a continuation, as there is a game that got suspended a couple months ago between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. They'll continue that game on Monday. Lonte, how's it going with you, though? How's your weekend been?
Pretty good weekend. Didn't have much action today. Didn't really like the card. But yeah, man, the next few days for MLB as far as matchup wise, not too good as we're gonna run through on this card. But overall, man, doing pretty good. Looking forward to at least trying to find some winners on this tough slate.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed week 0 as well of college football. A lot of good games. All the games are basically competitive. So hopefully the games continue to be competitive over the next week. Think college games resume on Thursday.
Yep.
I think.
No,
either way, though, it should be fun. If you want some college thoughts, check out the Sports Gambling Podcast and check out the college football experience, obviously. But a reminder that we do have a good deal for football season with the merch store, because everything in the merch store is 10% off with the promo code football. And I recommend getting something for the MLB show. If you want to get a shirt, you want to get a tank top, have a lot of options for you there. Plus, college football did start this past weekend, and week 1 is going to officially start on Thursday. So check out the Sports Gambling Podcast and the college football experience for all week 1 picks and for all of your favorite college futures. So, Lonte, time to get into the actual card for Monday. We're going to start off with a doubleheader, actually. We're going to merge both games into one breakdown. Have the Royals against the Guardians. For game 1, you have Ragans pitching against I don't know. Cleveland with I don't know pitching is favored at about minus 130, while you're looking at the Royals being around plus 115 or so on the money line as a dog. For the over-under, you have around 9 or 8.5. And then we'll get into game 2 in a second. For game 1, assuming this is the pitching matchup, Lonte, why is Cleveland favored in this game? Ragans is good. I don't know why they're 130.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Cleveland hasn't been in the best form lately either, so I was kind of shaking my head about that as well. I was trying to configure who it was going to be for Cleveland, but I mean honestly, I don't think it matters. I like not Toronto. I like the home. I mean the road dog here. I think Ragans is going to be the best pitcher out there. Kansas City's getting smoked right now. They got smoked last night as well. So I think they bounce back on the road. The offense travels. So I like the road dog here. Give me Ragans. I like the first 5 as well.
I just don't see much separating these teams. I think that based on the standings, these teams are pretty close. They're 3 games apart right now. We've seen Cleveland fall apart. And I don't know, before game 1 and game 2. That's why I'm kind of grouping the doubleheader together. Because for game 2, I like the under, by the way, in game 1. I do think that Cleveland offensively has not been great lately. Ragans might pitch well. And Kansas City offensively has been a lot worse on the road than at home this season. So I do think that you can see a lower scoring game. Total of 9, though, with Cleveland, I'm just not interested in. So I'll go with the under in that one for the total. As for game 2, you have Marsh pitching against, once again, undecided. No total, no money line. We got nothing for this game. Now, as for Marsh, he has not pitched in the majors in about a month, and he was struggling in his last couple outings. He was very good to start the year, then he hit a wall. So far this season, though, he is 7-7 with a 4.71 ERA. To mention his road numbers, though, he has been worse, a 4.99 ERA, and he has faced Cleveland this season. Did face them once. He was good. 6 innings, 1 run. So I'm going to ask you, assuming Cleveland is a bigger favorite in game 2 than game 1, I'm expecting Cleveland to win game 2. I'm really not a Marsh guy. I don't think he's very good. I'll lean Cleveland in game 2. You?
Yeah, I'm leaning that way as well. I mean, obviously we know multiple times, we said multiple times, like in doubleheaders, they usually split. Rarely do you see, I mean, unless it's just an, advantageous matchup, like is, a good team versus an awful team like the White Sox. But yeah, ultimately they both split. And I think this is the perfect scenario for that. Marsh usually want to fade pitchers coming off of those long layoffs. So I think Cleveland will get it done in game 2, but I think Kansas City gets it done in game 1.
Yep. Moving on to the next game on the card, we have the Cubs taking on the Pirates. For this one, you have Tyone pitching against, once again, undecided. Undecided is on a lot of different teams. Both teams are minus 108 on the money line according to FanDuel, and the over/under I see at 8.5. Tyone this season has been fine. He's 8-8, 3.77 ERA. We know Pittsburgh has not been good lately. The Cubs are 1 under 500. So they've been kind of feisty lately. They're only half a game behind the Cardinals for first place. However, for a second place in the division. However, Tyone has not been good lately. Last 3 starts, he has gone a total of 16 innings, giving up a total of 13 runs. So he has not been good. But Pittsburgh, we know, has not been great lately either. For this matchup, I understand if you want to go Cubs because they've been in better form, but I really don't trust Tyone at all. I think I'd rather take like a Pittsburgh team total over in this game. You?
Yeah, I mean, I would just go with the Cubs, just better form wise. I really don't trust Pittsburgh. They walked it off today in the bottom of the ninth, but they didn't look too good. They didn't look too bad in that series, just pretty average, which is what I think they are. Yeah, I really don't have a good feel for this game. I probably would just lean the Cubs, better form. The Tyone, I know he's been up and down, but we don't know who's going to pitch for the opposing team, so it's kind of hard to configure that without the proper adjustments being made to the line and things like that. So I would lean Cubs just because they're in better form right now. And I think Tyone can be okay against this offense. I mean, Pittsburgh's offense is not scaring anybody.
Yeah, I will point out that Pittsburgh did win 3 out of 4 against Cincinnati. They scored 4+ runs in 3 of those 4 games. They've not been good. They're still in the last place in the division. Point is, though, they could be a lot worse based on how they were trending about a week or two ago. Chicago's played better. Tyone, I mentioned before, though, has been in bad form, and the Cubs this weekend, they lost the game on Sunday to Miami, did win 2 out of 3. So they have been winning some series, but I do think it's a pretty decent spot to maybe consider a Pittsburgh offensive play. Which I know might sound dangerous, but Tyone has really not been great. So that might be a decent fade spot in this matchup. Moving on to the next game, you have the Astros taking on the Phillies in one of the better matchups for the upcoming few days. You have Blanco pitching against Wheeler. For this one, Phillies minus 155. Houston is plus 130. For the over-under in this game, you have it being set at around 8 or 7.5. Now, Blanco this season's been good. He hasn't been Wheeler good, but he still has a 3.14 ERA. Better on the road, though, 2.7 ERA on the road. Not good last start, though. The Red Sox did score 5 runs against him in 3 2/3. We've seen Philly recently be fine. Houston has been slumping, actually. They have lost 4 of their last 5 with a game on Sunday night upcoming. So we'll see how they do in that one. Most of the bullpen, though. The bullpen has not been good at all. I ended up blowing the game yesterday with the Jackson Holiday pinch hit 3-run double. Saw the Santander grand slam on Friday. So they've had chances to win. They've just been blowing leads. But my question for you is, do you want to lay 155 with Philly?
I don't. I don't at all. I understand Wheeler's been good 2 or less in 4 straight. And Blanco's winless in his last 7 starts. Hasn't been going a lot of length, 4 innings pitched in 3 of his last 5. So that's something to monitor. He did take a comebacker to the finger or to the hand. I think it messed up his finger, and he kind of got threw his rhythm off, and he was pulled from that game. He's been okay on the road. I mean, 2 earned runs or less in 3 of his last 4. I mean, I'll just trust both teams are right around 500. I mean, before not even counting today's results with Philly, so I can guess you could say they're 6-5 in their last 11. So I'm gonna go with the road dog here with Houston. I mean, I know Wheeler's fine. I don't really trust the bullpen and the current form that Philadelphia's in right now. So I'll go with Houston as a live dog tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'll agree based on price, but I'm probably not going to end up betting it. But Philly's offense did look a lot better over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do think Blanco is definitely vulnerable to getting shelled here. Wheeler's been good for the most part objectively, but we saw Philly do well against Kansas City, scored 11 runs on Sunday. I'll back that. I think I will lean to I'm talking myself out of the Astros now. I think I'll lean to Philly. Maybe minus the 1.5, actually. Because Houston hasn't been getting much length from Blanco, and the bullpen's been horrible lately. So I think it's a good spot for Philly to get maybe 7 innings from Wheeler and to get some decent at-bats here against Blanco. I think I'll go with Philly minus 1.5, actually. Thought about it. Houston, maybe if it was like a week or 2 ago, but they have not been good lately, and they're also playing Sunday night, and they're traveling. Not a good spot.
It's not far. It's not far, I don't think. It's like right up the street.
Still, you know what I mean, though. It's still a Sunday night game.
Yeah,
Point is, though, it's plus 135 if you want Philly minus 1.5. I don't mind that. I'll take that as my main play for this game. Moving on to the next game, you have the Yankees taking on the Nationals. For this one, Cortez is pitching on the road against Parker. Yankees are minus 180. You have the Nationals at about plus 150. For the over-under, you have around 9. Cortez has been good lately in multiple starts in a row, which is impossible. I can't believe he's actually done it. But Cortez, the last 2 starts, 14 innings, no runs. So he's been amazing. Last 2 outings. Washington, we know, has been feisty but not good this season as the 13 games under. But for Parker, he was pretty good when he got called up initially, and then he was struggling, but he's been very good lately. He's allowed less than 2 runs in 3 of his last 4 starts. Did get shelled on the road against the Phillies, gave up 9 runs in that start, but in his last 3 home starts, he's given up 1 total run. So both pitchers have been good. I am going to point out that the Nationals are getting reinforcements because Dylan Cruz is making his MLB debut in this game. The player from LSU who had the really long, forgot if it was a hit streak or if he was just batting like 400 in the college baseball life. But the point is, he's going to be called up, so expect him to try to make a name for himself in his debut. Minus 180 for the Yankees. They are playing better baseball, but I think it's actually a pretty hefty number. I'm going to lean Washington, mostly based on Parker being good at home. I think even if both pitchers pitch decently, 180 is a ton. The Yankees could win it, but I don't like the value. I'll lean to Washington. You?
Yeah, I'm leaning that way as well. Cortez is pitching well, 14 scoreless, and he does perform well against lesser offenses. And I think we can categorize Washington as like a middling to below average offense. So that you got a little something to go there. Washington's okay against lefties, not they're not overbearing, but I mean Parker at home, 1 earned run in his last 19 and 1/3 innings pitched. So that's something to monitor. Maybe I'm looking at a first 5 under. Thinking if both pitchers can come out and go through the lineup a few times and limit the damage, I think we can get maybe a 1-0, 1-1 type of game. So I'm gonna go first 5 under. I'll lean to Washington full game though.
Yeah, the only thing stopping me from the first 5 under would be Cortez's road form. And even though he was good last outing, that was against the White Sox on the road. And historically speaking, that's actually his best opponent. He's been amazing against the White Sox in his career for whatever reason, especially in the White Sox home ballpark. So I'm expecting some regression from Cortez, maybe from Parker as well, but I think this price is pretty massive. And maybe Cruz steals a base. Maybe he gets a couple hits. Wood's been very good since being called up. They have a couple of dangerous bats there.
Yeah, they're
potentially tee off. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but for the value, give me the plus money with the Nationals in this one. Moving on to the next game, you have game 1.5 of the doubleheader. That's what you want to call it because they're resuming the suspended game for starters. But they're going to be playing another game later that day, so keep an eye for the bullpen in the game. I don't even know what to call it. The game 1, I guess, in this makeshift doubleheader. Opponent, though, you have Berrios pitching against Pivetta in the game 1.5. You have the Blue Jays at plus 130. You have the Red Sox, at minus 155. Berrios 12-9 this season, 3.79 ERA. Pivetta 5-8, 4.7 ERA. The over/under in this game, by the way, is set at around 9 or 9.5. The Red Sox were okay about a month ago, and then recently they've kind of fallen apart. Lost again today to Arizona 7-5. Berrios has been good lately. He has given up less than 3 runs in 3 straight starts, but on the road this season, he's definitely been a lot worse than at home. So if you're expecting him to regress, it might be a decent spot for him because it's a 4.91 ERA on the road. Against Boston this season, though, he has not faced them for some reason. As for Pivetta, we know he's been kind of underwhelming for most of the season, and the Red Sox, we know, have been in pretty bad form lately. They're also 6 under at home. So they're better on the road than at Fenway. Pivetta, though, has allowed 8 runs in his last 2 starts, was not good against Houston last time out, but they have won 3 of his last 4 starts, so he has been getting some run support, as the Red Sox have scored at least 6 runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. So first glance, I like the over in this matchup. Berrios, I don't trust on the road, and Pivetta, I don't trust in general. I don't want to lay 155 with Boston, who's been slumping quite a bit lately. I'll lean Toronto for the value at plus 150, but I like the over. I see runs in this game.
Yep, love the over. I would lean Toronto first 5. Don't want to get involved with the bullpen. Pavetta's been pretty bad, man. 10 home runs allowed in his last 5 starts. 4+ runs in 3 of his last 4 home games. 20 runs in his last 5 5 starts. So, we can expect Toronto's offense to kind of get it going against Pivetta, I think. And while Berrios he's won 3 in a row, He's 4-1 his last 5, 2.72 ERA. He's coming down from what happened to him in July. I mean, he had 18 runs allowed in July in 5 games. He's cut that in half in 9 games. I mean, 9 runs in 4 games. So, a little bit better here, but like you mentioned, he struggled on the road. 4+ runs allowed in 4 of his last 5 on the road. So I see a ton of runs here. I think both teams can get to 5-6 runs maybe. So yeah, I like the first 5 over. So I guess I could put a full unit on the first 5 over, half unit on the full game.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the first 5 because both bullpens are terrible. So I'd rather
Sure.
just take the full game. So I feel like that's probably the safer option. But I think, as we talked about before, I think each team gets to 4, which should result in an over. So give me the over in that one, and I'm going to take Toronto. Plus 130 with Berrios is an insane price because I do think Berrios, despite being on the road, is better, objectively speaking, than Pivetta on the mound.
100%.
So
Yep.
give me Toronto in that one. Before we get into any of the other games on the Monday card, I want to remember once again, they're brought to you by Munaf Fantasy because their pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry, or you can play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Best Ball Mania is now live with $50 million in prizes. You can have specials and boosts and all flex entries. For my entry here, you have a lot of tennis options for the U.S. Open, by the way, starting tomorrow. For baseball, you know what? Yeah, let's do something we actually talked about already. I'll go with the what do I want to go with here? You know what? I'll go with the higher earned runs for Blanco against Philly tomorrow. I think Blanco's going to be in trouble, and I think Philly can get a lot of scoring chances against him. So I'll give me the higher on Blanco earned runs for my underdog entry. A reminder, though, when you do end up making a new account, sign up the promo code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 bonus cash on a fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Circus 5 and Circuit Millions. Circus Sports is back with Circus 5 and Circuit Millions. Give away $16 million guaranteed prize. And a reminder that hopefully you enjoyed Ultimate Con this weekend because it's going to end today. But you can use the promo code HB15 to save you 50% of your hotel room for sign-up weekend. A reminder, if you're going to be entering either contest, the Survivor or the Circuit Millions, you have to sign up in person at Circuit Sports before September 7th. And you can use a proxy play from anywhere after you sign up in person. We even have a deal with the proxy. Go to proxythefootballcontest.com. We can save you $50 with the promo code SGP, and you'll also get a free hat. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Just finished recapping, or I should say previewing the upcoming games, the early upcoming games for Monday. Time to keep it rolling, though. Just finished going through the Blue Jays and Red Sox game. Time to keep it rolling with the Braves and the Twins. We saw the Twins lose on Sunday to the Cardinals. Not a great overall weekend for Minnesota. And they were really right next to Cleveland, and they kind of allowed Cleveland to regain some ground. For this matchup, though, you Fried against Ober. Both teams are about minus 110 on the money line, and the over-under in this game is around 8 or 7.5. Atlanta's been hovering. Minnesota's been hovering. Kind of a tricky matchup. Ober, though, I do think has been better than Fried. The numbers are kind of similar, but Ober has a whip below 1, which I do like. Ober did look okay last outing, 6 innings, 3 runs against the Padres, but he was great for about 2 months straight. Fried has been kind of overrated over the course of the season, and Atlanta, I don't trust really at all. Minnesota's 11 over at home. That's good enough for me. I'll lean to Minnesota in this game. You?
Yeah, I love Minnesota in the spot. Always looking to fade Fried and Morton as many times as I can. I mean, Fried's winless in his last 7 appearances, 0-4, and 3 no decisions. It's 14 earned runs and 20 innings pitched this month. 3 walks, 3 or more walks in 3 of his last 4. So, I mean, he has control issues. He's giving up a lot of contact. Ober, 11 straight quality starts. That's a really, really good number. He's top 5 in ERA, 2.09 in that span. So, he's not had a bad start in about 2 months. 5 straight home games, allowing 2 or less. I think this is a mismatch on paper as far as pitching wise. If Minnesota's offense can kind of get things going, I think we see a low scoring game. I love the under, and I love Minnesota in this spot. So find the 8. Don't do the 7.5. Go to the 8 and go under that.
Yeah, you can make an argument that even though his ERA is in the mid-3s, that Ober's been the most underrated pitcher in the entire league this season. You can make the argument about that. You said he hasn't made a bad start in 2 or 2+ months. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So and even then, he only had 4. I mean, I get it. It's 4 runs, but I think he only allowed 4 runs.
Yeah, he gave up 3 last start to San Diego, and that was considered a bad start. He set the bar so high for the last couple months. So I like Ober. I think he's pretty good. But Minnesota at home is definitely backable to me. So I'll go with Minnesota at a pretty cheap price at minus 110. Moving on to the next matchup, you have the Padres taking on the Cardinals. I see undecided against Gibson. For this actual money line price, I see nothing. And for the total, I have nothing. So the question is, who do you want to back? I'll assume San Diego's favored because the record is better. I don't know his pitching though, so it could be tricky for this one. But Gibson 7-5, 4.2 ERA, so basically an innings eater. He has been fine for the most part, giving up less than 3 runs in 2 of the last 3. Did get shelled by the Reds recently, but he's been good at home. He's been bad on the road. This is a home start for him. San Diego was kind of peaking a couple weeks ago. They've not exactly done that well against the Mets over the weekend. We'll see if they can get back on track in this game, as they're down 1-0 right now. But I think for this matchup, I'm going to lean to the Cardinals. I think they might be getting plus money. Gibson's been good at home. Dono's pitching for San Diego. I think we'll get a decent price on St. Louis. I'll lean to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think St. Louis can kind of get some runs here. I mean, obviously it's depending on who's been going, but they've been a lot better at home offensively. San Diego's offense, obviously on the road, is one of the better ones in the MLB. Gibson's got a high hard hit rate. So I think San Diego's offense can get it going here. Obviously, it's hard to know, what to, numbers wise, what to bet on or what to, fade. But I think we can get over this number. I really don't trust Gibson. I pretty much fade him every time he's pitching, especially on the road. But being at home, like you mentioned, I think he can go well. I just trust San Diego's offense to kind of get it done on the road. So I would lean to San Diego and go over this number.
I don't know. I'm kind of sensing some complacency with San Diego. They were on a very solid streak right after the All-Star break, and I don't know. It seems like they've kind of cooled off a bit.
Yeah,
so maybe I'll
try
to,
it's baseball. It's baseball.
Yeah, I think at that point I'm going to sell on the high, and maybe I'll buy the dip with the Cardinals here with Gibson on the mound in this one. Moving on, though, to the next game. You have the Tigers taking on the White Sox.
Jesus.
What is this, like a 10-game series? I feel like they faced off against each other for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
For this one, congratulations to the White Sox, though. They ended up losing again today, which means they now officially have 100 losses. Congratulations. I'm proud of you guys. For this one, though, you have undecided against Martin. The Tigers are minus 145. The White Sox are about plus 120. For the over-under in this game, you have it being set at around 9. Martin, I will admit, has been decent.
Yeah,
doesn't go much length, but he's 0-2, 3.22 ERA. The Tigers have dominated the series, and I'm not going to change my mind on it. Give me the Tigers money line. This price feels too cheap to me. You?
I like White Sox first 5, although they burned me today, up 3-0. Going into the top of the 5th, they give up a 5 spot, I think. So that hurt. But yeah, I like Martin. Decent swing and miss stuff. He's got 5 Ks in 3 of his last 4 starts, 3 combined runs in his last 3. I mean, simple. You obviously, if you like the pitcher for the White Sox, you want to take him in the first 5. So that's exactly what I'm doing. We'll get plus money here. I mean, they've been getting destroyed all series by Detroit. So I don't expect that to change, but I kind of think that Martin can go well, and maybe we can get a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, just for reference, the Tigers have won each of the first 3 games in the series by 3+ runs. They've scored a total. They've scored a total of 22 runs in the last 2 games combined. Jesus. And so far this season, the Tigers are 8-1 against the White Sox. So they've owned this team. So give me Detroit in this one. Not going to overthink it. The White Sox broke 100 losses. Congratulations. I expect you to potentially have a shot at 120, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah, give me the Tigers in this one. Moving on to the next game, you have another fun series, just kidding, between the Marlins and the Rockies. So if you enjoy baseball, then you're going to love potentially seeing a lot of bad pitching in the series. But for the matchup, I have Cabrera against undecided. For the money line, I got nothing. For the total, I have nothing. Miami over the weekend was actually decent. As they were at home against the Cubs. They ended up losing 2 out of 3, but they won the finale, so I guess that counts for something. We know the Rockies got shelled with the Yankees in the last couple games, did win. So they won the Saturday game. They ended up losing the Sunday game, but Warren pitched on Saturday, which doesn't count because he's a fake pitcher. So the Rockies, we know, stink. They're terrible on the road. Miami, they're at home in this one, though, so maybe they can bounce back as the Rockies are only 4 under at home while being 35 under overall. Miami, though, is 22-39 on the road. Cabrera, we know, is not very good. I don't know what the price is going to be. Colorado might be a slight favorite because they're at home. It's, once again, a go-to-a-meeting game where if you want to bet it, you might want to maybe call the Gamblers Anonymous to help you out. But what are your thoughts? I'll lean Rockies because I think Cabrera stinks.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts at all, man, except for I give out Miami both games in the past 2 podcasts. They lose. We don't have a show. I bet them. They win. So that's just how it goes. I would lean over. I think both offenses
Yeah.
can kind of get things going, especially in Coors. So that's the only thought I had, which is lean over.
Yeah, I'll lean over too. I'll lean Rockies at home. That's basically it. Moving on to the last game on the card, we have the Rays taking on the Mariners. For this one, you have Pepiot against Miller. For the actual price on this one, I see Seattle at -120, Tampa at +102. For the over-under, I see 7. Now, the Mariners are down 2-1 right now in the 5th inning. As for Tampa, they ended up what did Tampa do today?
I think they're still playing, right?
Tampa's down 1-0 to the Dodgers in the 6th inning. Tampa did win in extras on Saturday, as they have been kind of feisty. Did look pretty decent against the Dodgers first couple games. As for Seattle, they had the comeback win against the Giants on Friday because Rodgers was atrocious. And they lost the game on Saturday as they lost 4-3. However, they still have been struggling, Seattle has. They have lost 4 of 5. They have lost a lot more than that. They have lost 9 of their last 11. So they scored 3 runs yesterday. They have 1 run right now in the 5th. I can't believe that firing the manager didn't do anything to fix the offense. For this matchup, though, once again, Miller's been very good at home. Pepiot's been fine this season, but Tampa's been kind of feisty. Tampa has given the Dodgers some problems, and they called up who is it, Caminero, who's been good so far.
And he hit a homer. He's
had a couple home runs. So I'm going to lean Tampa. I understand that you can make the argument Miller at home is dangerously good and you don't want to fade him, but Seattle, I don't trust in Tampa getting plus money. They've impressed me over the weekend against the Dodgers. They've looked competitive, they've looked feisty, and Caminaro's added some firepower to the lineup. I'm going to go Tampa in this one.
Yeah, man, I love Tampa. This is one of the candidates to be my dog. I think it's probably going to be. You just kind of sealed that. They won. I mean, Pepe has won 3 in a row. 1.89 ERA since returning from injury. I mean, 2 or less in 2 straight starts. He's had 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run versus Seattle in June. So he's got the familiarity there. I mean, I love the way Tampa has played the Dodgers. They should have won a couple. They probably should be up 2-0 in the series. I think they gave away one of the games.
What happened? Like Muncy, didn't Muncy have a late homer in one of those
games?
Did
Shohei have the grand slam?
Shohei had the grand slam about that was a couple days ago.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, but I mean they were right there. They were leading the game, I think 4-0 and then 3-0 back-to-back times, and then they kind of just blew it. I mean the Dodger offense is just unreal. And I like Miller, but I mean he's failed to get to 5 innings pitched in 2 of his last 4. He's had 6+ in the other 2. He's got he has had 4 scoreless starts in his last 7. So I love the under here, man. I know it's low, but I'll go first 5 under, full game under, and also love Tampa.
I think I'd rather take Seattle team total under because I think Tampa can actually score. Like, I don't mind this offense. I know that they're currently being shut out, so maybe I'm not picking the right time to talk about them, but they've been good this series. I mean, I got to at least point it out. Tampa's been feisty. So
yeah, they have.
Yeah, I think I'll just fade Seattle's offense. I'll link to Tampa in this one. That's going to wrap it up, though, for the games on Monday. Now it's time for the Lock and Dog picks. But for that one, once again, they're brought to you by Rhythm because they let you build your own model, or they can build models for you for college football or the NFL. And if you want to use Rhythm, they're SGPN's proud partner. #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive models, and then get predictions in seconds for moneyline, spread, total, and props. A reminder, you can also just take a model that's already been made from Rhythm, so you don't have to actually do any of the heavy lifting. Simplify your betting process for college football, which kicks off again on Thursday. You can use Rhythm for golf and WNBA as well. You can build models with those, or if you want to end up looking at, for example, the NC State and Western Carolina game, suddenly you might know what you're talking about. Maybe you want to bet on Missouri -48.5 against Murray State. Maybe you want to do that too. Point is, though, let Rhythm make some decisions for you, and I do think that will be a pretty solid use of your time. It can save you time. It'll do the research for you. You can go back to living your life and just backing blindly what the model says. Claim your 7 future today, though, by going to sportscampus.com, Rhythm, sportscampus.com, which is RITHMM. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Pricing Game Time app actually go down closer to first pitch. Clear last-minute deals, all in prices, view some receipt. You can use their lowest price guarantee, and Game Time will take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. My favorite feature is the image of seat views that help prevent you from finding tickets that you might think have some, I'd say, value with the price, but it turns out you're getting scammed because there's some type of pull or obstruction in your line of view, which is going to ruin your entire experience, which will mean that you will waste your money. That doesn't happen, though. With Game Time, you can now get a view of the actual seat before you end up spending your money, so you know exactly what seat you're getting and what view you're going to get before you head to the ballpark. But a reminder, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code SGPN for $20 off first purchase. Again, terms apply, create an account, redeem code SGPN. $20 off. Down the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Just finished going through all the games for Monday. Time for our favorite bets, the lock and dog picks for the show. Lonte, what is your lock and dog pick for the Monday card?
Yeah, so we'll start backwards. I just went over to the dog, small road dog. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, I just love the way they played this weekend. Obviously, maybe a little bit of recency bias and a little bit of fade of Seattle. I mean, handicapping Seattle is probably one of the easiest handicaps. If you can figure out when they're gonna, have some offensive success, then you bet on them. If you want to fade them, then you find out when they are not going to do anything offensively, which is more often than not. So I like Tampa, like Pepiot on the mound. I think it's a low scoring game. I think we see maybe a 2-1, 3-2 type of game here. So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Rays as the small dog. For the lock, I'm going to Minnesota, man. I think it's a mismatch on the mound with Ober and Fried. Love Minnesota at home. They were underwhelming a little bit this weekend. I think they can kind of put a halt to that. Atlanta, I mean, they're like putting pieces together with that lineup. It's kind of all over the place. They're traveling on the road after a decent series versus Washington. I mean, they got smacked today. But I mean, I think Ober can go well. He's been dominant at home. I think we see a low scoring game. So love Minnesota, love the under in that game. So Minnesota is going to be my lock. That's at -110 right now.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's a better price I could find on Minnesota. I see -108.
Yeah, perfect. I'm taking
if you want that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So for my lock, there are a couple things I was tempted by. I know what my dog's going to be. I think I'm actually going to do it. I see a 135 on DraftKings. Give me the Tigers with undecided pitching against the White Sox. Said it before. They've only lost one time to the White Sox all year. So I have a hard time going against them. They've won all 3 games of the series by 3+ runs. The White Sox, we know, are god-awful. One of the worst teams I've ever seen. Detroit, though, scored 22 runs in the last 2 games. Martin has been fine, but the bullpen we know is useless. But I think you're going to be a good deal. Detroit is not good, but they're only 1 game under. They're not actually that bad. They've been a mediocre baseball team this season, while the White Sox have been, once again, 31-100 this season. They've won 4 of their last 5, but when you dominate a team head-to-head, winning pretty much every game in the head-to-head, and you're looking at them being 8-1 this season, I have a hard time going against them. I just think that Detroit is in good form. They have won each of the last 4 meetings by 3+ runs, and I think that 135 is a good price. So I'll go with the Tigers as my lock at -135 on DraftKings. For my dog, I think I am going to go with the Blue Jays money line. I found a +140 on Bet365. I think that price is massive. Pivetta is not very good. Yes, I know Barris on the road is a problem, but the Blue Jays have won 4 straight, did sweep the Angels. I know it's the Angels, but still a nice 4-game sweep there. The Red Sox got swept at home against Arizona. They've been slumping. And I think Boston is once again a bit overvalued based on their form this season. Not really their form lately. So give me Toronto off a 4-game winning streak to get the job done in this one. +140, though, with Barrios being better than Pivetta, and with Toronto being in better form, I think has a lot of value. I'll go with that as my dog. So, Lonte, what is going to be your home run pick for the Monday card?
Yeah, so we're going to go to Boston, the same game that you just mentioned. I'm going to go with George Springer. George Springer's been hitting the ball well, and August just hasn't been, getting over the fence. He's got 3 home runs in his last, I think, 6 or 7 games. So that's kind of, encouraging, but he's been putting the bat to the ball. And I think Pivetta is giving up multiple home runs in his last 5 games. We ran over the numbers as far as him being, so I guess, susceptible to contact. And I think George Springer can kind of get a hold of one tomorrow in Boston.
Okay. So for mine, for reference, by the way, Springer lifetime is batting .367 against Pivetta. I thought about going back to Vlad, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I feel like I wonder how cheap the price is going to be, though, but I hit on Vlad a couple days ago, and it worked out. I think I'm going to go back to it. Give me Vlad. Same reason that you took Springer. It just comes down to Pivetta giving up 2 home runs in 5 straight starts. So many home runs, I got to at least fade the pitcher. That's usually my approach. I hit Perez last episode for plus 450. Main reason because Taijuan Walker keeps giving up home runs. It's the same logic. Pavetta's going to keep giving up fly balls, and you got, of course, the green monster there in the left. Vlad's been fantastic for the last month or two, and I think that he's got a pretty good matchup here. Give me Vlad. If it's over 3-1, which I think it should be, I'll take it. It might be a little bit in the maybe 330 range, maybe a bit cheaper, but I got to take Vlad. He's been that good. He'll be my home run pick. That's going to wrap it up, though, for actual picks for this episode. Lonte, before we end the show, anything you want to add?
Nah, man. Good luck to everybody this week. This is a tough slate for the first few games. So, man, yeah, tread lightly. Best of luck to everybody out there.
Yep. Until next time, though, you can find us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. You can find him on Twitter at XXLonteXX. Besides that, you have a couple other podcasts going on that I'm in. WNBA might be on tonight as well with Terrell. I already did I already did a U.S. Open episode for the women's tournament a couple hours ago. I have the men's tournament coming up in a couple hours as well. So another tennis episode coming up. Hit a 29-1 shot over the weekend, which was pretty nice for tennis. Besides that, you could also find us on other overall platforms or other overall podcasts. You can find Lonte's articles on the SGPN website. Until next time, though, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.